Hello, and welcome to the Midnight Forum. Here we share tales, either chilling or thrilling. Some are just that. Stories formed in the minds of others for entertainment or embellished so that the initial truth is fully obscured. Some are more true than you may think. Tonight, we return once again to the tale of Azure. In his last entry, he recounted the influence of the mysterious entity and the counter-influence of the woman who traveled with him. But which influence will prevail? Will Azure follow the tempting voice of the entity, or the voice of compassion? Perhaps we will find out in entry 3 of The Blade of the Cursed One. The morning came with little excitement. Sunrise was heralded by the sound of nearby creatures. Birds whistled their morning tunes, and slowly, the world began to awaken. I stood at the window of my room, Enid stirring softly beside me. I paid her little mind. After the entity had introduced itself to me in such a thunderous manner, I had spent the entire night lost in thought. I knew nothing of such things, of beings who could speak into the minds of others in such a way as this one had to me. It was as intriguing as it was maddening. The entity's words rang through my mind unceasingly, but my defiance would be absolute. This entity, no matter its identity, would not control me. It occurred to me briefly that Enid may know something of this matter. However, I was not willing to share such things with her. As of yet, I still did not trust Enid. She had been kind to me, but I knew nothing of her. She was only a traveler, little more than a shadow with a voice. Over time, her persistent kindness would change things, but not yet.
Good morning,
she said from beside me. I looked over to see her sitting on the edge of her bed, regarding me with a slight smile.
Did you sleep well?
I do not sleep, I responded.
Oh.
She replied to me.
Right. Sorry about that.
Her eyes searched mine momentarily, and her smile widened.
I'd like to do something today, if you would accompany me through the town,
she suggested, in what seemed a hopeful tone. I stared at her for a moment. I did not know what she intended. My intent for the day was clear, but I did not have any leads. After a few silent moments, I nodded. She smiled again. I did not respond. It took her some time to prepare for the day. She insisted that I wait for some time in our room before departing, and despite my protestations, she left me alone with a book. Her book was intriguing. It did not contain mere letters. There was a form of language within it, but I could not read it right away. There were symbols within, strange formations of lines and shapes that created intricate patterns. Something familiar stirred within me at the sight of them, though I could not place it. This caused paranoia to rise within me, at least momentarily, as I considered my suspicion of Enid's arcane practices in the necromantic arts. However, after some time studying the book, I concluded that whether the book contained knowledge of the sort or not, it was not all so. Comprehension began to grow within me, a fledgling of knowledge not yet prepared to take flight. Before I was finished studying the book, Enid returned. Her eyes darted to the open book and then to me, and the instant surprise on her face turned to sheer joy.
Can you understand that?
I did not respond, instead closing the book and handing it to her. Are you ready yet? She presented a package to me.
Yes, as soon as you take this.
I opened the package to reveal a gray hooded cloak.
I know you won't like it, but if people saw your face...
I pulled the cloak around me, drew the hood about my head, and stepped past her to the door. She followed. We walked through the marketplace without drawing too much attention. There were enough people present that, though I was larger than most, I caught only the occasional sideways glance. Whenever I caught someone's eye, they quickly looked away. Enid led us through the crowd. She purchased some bread at a small stand, turning to look at me with her soft smile each time she picked something up. It seemed to me that she was searching for my approval for some reason. I did not understand this. I did not know what we were doing here, especially after my experience through the night. This felt a waste to me. Eventually, she stopped at another small stand. It was filled with colorful plants, and a happy-looking man stood beside it. Enid perused the stems for a moment, picking a small handful and turning to me. They were flowers with green stems, long white petals, and thin stalks rising from the inside of them.
What do you think?
She asked me. My eyes narrowed. I looked from the flowers to her, to the smiling man. I turned and looked about the crowd. These people were too happy. I did not understand it. The darkness I had experienced, had lived within for my known existence, unceasing, was overwhelming. I did not know happiness, or joy, or whatever emotion this plant somehow evoked within these people. I was not like them.
Asher.
Her addressing me caused anger to rise within me. Through gritted teeth, I responded, "Why are you wasting our time?" She seemed hurt by this. I did not care. She let out a slight cry of distress.
Oh.
She turned again to the stall, picking another small plant, and turned hurriedly to slip it through the bandages around my chest. Rage erupted within me. I seized her wrist, squeezing hard. She whimpered, "Why are you wasting our time?" People nearby stopped and stared at us. The man standing beside me reached his hand toward my arm. Everything around seemed to slow. The world spun around me as my vision blurred. I could hear the voice within my mind echoing faintly. "Hurt them," it said. "Kill them," it said. "You don't know these people. They conspire against you. What joy you would have, they would steal from you. Kill them, leave them to their own devices, and seek your answers on your own. Come to me, and I will give you the knowledge you seek." I could feel hot fury burning within me. I heard the piercing ring of steel upon steel. I saw nothing but blurry images, and a deep darkness approached rapidly. I felt myself slipping into it. It called me to rest, to give in, to revoke my control and let the entity take over. I almost let it have me. But then I heard her voice, soft and sure.
Let him go.
And the spiraling world set itself upright again. Enid stood before me, her hands on my cheeks, gazing into my eyes. I could not comprehend what I saw there, but a different kind of warmth. Something segregated from the fury that had so guided me thus far dwelt within. I noticed then the gleam of Requiem, my blade, shining in the morning sun, drawn and extended. I looked about and saw the eyes of the crowd upon me, a mix of fear and disgust within them. For the first time, I felt panic well up within me. As I replaced Requiem within its scabbard, Enid took my arm and pulled me through the crowd.
"It's all right,"
she said.
"You're all right. We'll get through this."
And without a second thought, we left the town of Kamu behind and set out on the path onward.